to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight, we will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight, yeah. We are heroes tonight, we will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight, town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Josh and Reece podcast here on the Josh YouTube channel. Listen, it's not the World of Football podcast. They look like it. It's a different YouTube channel, but we still have the same ugly faces because we just work that well together. So,
except me. We all know I'm
well,
the best.
listen, just ignore that, man. He doesn't even know where he's sitting. Oh, we're getting a different scenery, apparently.
I'm home alone, so I've got the whole location, so I'll be streaming from my living room instead.
But to introduce my panel, so we've got Nathan, who I literally phoned up 15 minutes ago to tell him to get his ass on here. So, Nathan, how you doing? I'm sure you're absolutely buzzing at what's happening at the moment with your country.
Wales, Wales, Wales. Buzzing. And we qualified before England. What can't you love? I mean, that's what happens when the mainstream media writes you off and they big up England too much. I'm not going to get into too much detail right now, but thanks for having me on as usual.
We've got the guy who's literally part of the furniture on the channel, Doug from the Doug and Football channel. This guy literally is part of the furniture. How you doing, my sofa?
Part of the furniture. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you're doing well as well. And yeah, congratulations, Wales. Fantastic to see them through to obviously that round of 16. And obviously, I think we'll all be looking at the Wales game to see who they'll get. It's one of Finland, Denmark, or Russia. So I would probably say that whoever Wales get, I would fancy them over any of those three, to be honest with you.
And welcome my co-host. He's got a new Twitter tag by the looks of it. Reece, how you doing, Reece?
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks. Literally just finished work, so what a good way to start my evening, eh?
And just to confirm to everyone that the game is over in Romania. Austria are through to the round of 16. Ukraine are pretty much out unless a miracle of 3 points are enough. But Austria are automatically through to the round of 16 for the first time in their history. And not only have they broken that record, they have won two games in the group stage, and that's their first two ever wins in the European competition too. So history being made right there. So we'll get on to that, but we'll start off, of course, here. We'll start off with Wales, Nathan. We have to start off with Wales. We have to start off with the team that has definitely qualified. We'll find out your team by the end of tonight. You know, your first half performance against Switzerland was awful in Baku, but fair enough. Yeah, you Kiefer Moore with an incredible header, you equalised. That point was enough for you to get your point.
Absolutely.
You absolutely outplayed Turkey. Turkey couldn't keep up with you. And then, last night's game, maybe did not mean as much, but 10 men only going away to Italy, losing 1-0. That's very, very well done. So also you, besides that first half against Switzerland, you have probably zero complaints about what's happened so far.
I mean, honestly, to see a terrible half of football, but then move on and do what we've done, phenomenal. Go for a few points. Our team selection been spot on. Connor Roberts. I thought he should be dropped at the start, honestly, especially after he gave away, once again, a goal from a corner. I was constantly saying Neco Williams should be starting at right back. Lots of Swansea fans disagreeing with me, as usual, on that one. But he just lacks something in corners. If we ever have to face a corner again, get him out of the box, I think, personally, even though he is a right back. But Kiefer Moore popping up with a goal. He's the most underrated striker in the Championship, straight up. Touch wood, he stays at us in the summer, because I believe a lot of Premier League clubs are going to be after him after the tournament. Moving on to Turkey, well, that was phenomenal, wasn't it? Connor Roberts changing my perception on him a little bit. And Aaron Ramsey, he was amazing in that game. Bale, that link-up play, absolutely spectacular. Moving on to Italy, they look a phenomenal team, possibly a favourite to go through and, well, maybe even win the whole tournament. But defended really well against them. That Ethan Ampadu challenge, a lot of people have been asking me about it. At first, I thought it was not a red card at all, maybe a just a tight yellow. But when I did see that second angle on it, studs were up, definite red. I'm not going to beat around the bush with that, but it was a red card, and I'm probably going to be one of the only Wales fans who will admit that was a red card. But to do what we did with 10 men as well, and a rested team, which you guys have to remember as well. Rested loads of players against Italy. Kiefer Moore rested. The list goes on and on and on. Centre-backs rested. No complaints.
Before we continue on, we welcome George Kyle. Hello, George. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Josh. Yeah.
And again, everyone, this is not the Waterfall podcast. That comes back on the. I could be wrong. What's the 12th of it's not the 12th of August? That's later. Is it what the? I can't remember. What date we agreed on?
Yes, I can confirm it is the 2nd of August. So it is not the. It's the week. I think it's the week that the SPFL and I think the championships start. I could be wrong about that.
Starts on the. What is it? Hang on, 2 secs. Championship starts on the 7th.
7th, yeah. I think, yeah. So what I've decided to do is we'll do probably Premier League predictions. It'll be a prediction show probably on that day. So what I'm planning to do is probably keep it to us, and then obviously the next game week in August we'll have more guests. But I think it's probably better to keep it at that just now. So 2nd of August.
You have to put on your diary. So Mel, big up. Josh and Rachel. Reece isn't there, but thank you very much. Talk MU, big up 2nd, and then JW, big up 3rd. Hello everyone. Shane O'Donnell, hope you're doing. Hello Doug again. Hallie, great good evening everyone. Hello Yeti boy. It was a great watch along. I think I was Hallie's. I think it was your first watch along in your channel. If I'm not wrong. Daniel James, #1 fan. Oh my god. Hello, Chris. Even lads, hope you're well, and thank you. Yes, I'm 5 subs away from 100. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button down below, I think you know what to do. Who else? Yes, I know. Reece relating to it. Wales bit. Some people so could. Yeah, I had Turkey as my dark horse, but we are going to talk about that because it's my channel. We don't embarrass me on my own channel, so we're not talking about it. Have you and George been sacked, Jeff? No. Listen, the golden show is being recorded this week. We just need to find a time. Tom has generally said that we have 1 more week, so we're all good. And then first knockout game confirmed: Italy versus Austria. Well, we'll get on to that. But one player that I think has really surprised Wales fans, Nathan, is Danny Ward. Obviously, he was picked over Wayne Hennessy, which a lot of people were surprised about. But Danny Ward, he made some crucial saves for Wales in the group stages.
To be honest, I wasn't surprised about that at all because he has been in some friendlies, but he has been absolutely superb. Hennessy, of course, he is getting on a bit now, as you know. I think this will be his last major tournament for Wales before he does retire as well. Out of favour at Crystal Palace, and yeah, I don't think he's got long left in professional football. I remember him being in nets for Wales all the way back in 2008 when we were still playing at the Millennium Stadium, which was quite mad. Who was that? I think it might have been like Wales versus Azerbaijan or something. all the way back 2008, 2007, all those years ago with his blonde hair. And then you had, Danny Ward, rotting on the Leicester bench, you could say, but then again, there's no way he's getting in front of Kasper Schmeichel. Also, gotta mention Cardiff, former Cardiff, of course. Gotta get it out there, guys. Yeah, he's got to leave Leicester this summer, I think. Definitely go to maybe a lower down Premier League club, but wherever he goes, and if he gets first team football, he will be winning some awards. He is a ridiculously underrated goalkeeper.
It is intriguing how Danny Ward's always been a bench keeper. You know, he hasn't even wanted to like a championship club and being a starter. But maybe he's just happy sitting on the bench. Maybe that's, you know, some goalkeepers are happy just to rub a living.
I think he had a really good run at Huddersfield as well when they got promoted from the Championship to the
Huddersfield and Aberdeen. He had a very good run. I actually forgotten he was actually at Aberdeen until someone actually told me recently. So no, I think Danny Ward is a very, very good goalkeeper. The only problem with him is I don't see him leaving Leicester. He's just signed a new contract as well. So you know, I think he's probably happy to just be, you know, number two. But yeah, I have to agree with what everyone's saying about Ward. I think he's been fantastic these games. And yeah, obviously we all knew about Wayne Hennessy, you know, being number one goalkeeper for a long, long time for the Welsh national team. But he's kind of been sidelined. And fair credit to Danny Ward, who's actually taken his chance, and I think he's been superb.
Yeah, because Ward was initially brought in when Hennessy went off injured in, I think it was the Nations League. And then Danny Ward has just been superb ever since. And I'm just glad that Rob Page has given him the opportunity, because if that was under Ryan Giggs or another manager, especially under Chris Coleman as well, that would have never happened.
And funnily enough, I actually said to you yesterday, Nathan, I said that I thought Rob Page's team selection was very, very clever. Get the booked players out of the way. You know, look, obviously, Ampadu, I think it's a harsh red card, in all honesty. I really do.
I disagree, unfortunately, Doug. I think it was a red.
You think it was a red?
Yep, studs up. I
suppose referees have been kind of told that they're wanting to clamp down on challenges like that, but even still, there was a similar challenge from an Italian player like 2 minutes into the game, and there was nothing given on that account. So you have to argue, why was Ampadu's a red and why was the Italian player's not even a card?
Very true. I think it was just the way that the referee was positioned as well, because it happened right in front of his view. But for me, it did take a few replays and a particular angle for me to say it was a red. Because if it would have been from the one angle it was from the side view, then I would have said maybe a yellow card. But when I saw that one where his leg was nearly halfway up his leg with studs up, that was straight red for me.
Great. I'm assuming you were going to say great panel tonight. Yes, I don't think you can ask for a better five people. Listen, we're going to keep George until the end because we'll know he'll rant on about 10 minutes about Gareth Southgate. So, George, we will come to you to let you have your rant. Thought you were starting 7. Things last few weeks, things have not went to plan on this podcast. We kind of just said, yep, we're doing the things here, then and then. So if you want to know what's happening, keep an eye on my Twitter, because that's where things go. You know what, George, I'll come to you. I'll give you, I'll let you warm your voice up. I had Turkey as my dark horses. A lot of people had Turkey as their dark horses, but they finished bottom of the group. 1 goal scored, 8 conceded, 0 points, and looked absolutely dreadful. For a team that bet the Dutch 4-2 away, they bet France at home, they drew away to France, and then they came up in this tournament with an extremely experienced coach, decent defence, and have absolutely flopped. What went wrong for them?
You missed a bit of a trick actually there, Josh. You just said to him, make sure you turn on all your notifications from this channel, because obviously if you turn on the little bell... As far as I know, notifications on YouTube are absolutely awful, so I don't even bother. Mine are working, but that's just a little trick if you wanted to get all the notifications of you going early or anything like that. Obviously, I think. I can't remember obviously off the top of my head. I hadn't had a chance to look back at our sort of prediction video that we all did. But I think I was sort of saying it was going to be Italy, then Wales. I was saying personally it was going to be Wales, going to be second. But I think I probably might have had Turkey third and Switzerland fourth, or the other way around. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I had Wales in second. And And ultimately, obviously, it's, Turkey were obviously a lot of people's dark horses, but I think there was just a real lack of quality up front. Obviously, Yilmaz, his sort of magic dust from this season, all sort of evaporated, and they just couldn't score at all. They were absolutely dire in defence as well, and ultimately it was just a real lack of quality that shone through, and they've been deservedly eliminated. Probably one of, if not, in fact, the worst team at these Euros in terms of the performances and matches that they've played. As you said, only obviously one goal scored and got humped by everyone that they played. So, yeah, absolutely dreadful showing for them. And yeah, they've deservedly gone home, and I'm glad as well because I don't have to watch them anymore. So, yeah.
you could say that they had the stuffing taken out of them.
Doug, I want to be full to just taking on with this group. There isn't much to say, but see Switzerland now. In our predictions video, we kind of underestimated Switzerland. Switzerland under, I can't say his name, Pekic or something like that. They've always been good under him. They've qualified from near old
Pekovic. Yep.
He's defensively. They're defensively they're good. Good goalkeeper, good defender. Shaqiri always plays well for them.
Pekovic is Czech.
He's what?
He's Czech. Pekovic.
He's Czech. He thinks that
Pekovic is Czech. Yeah.
He sings the Swiss national anthem though, so he must have some Switzerland heritage to him. But Switzerland have always done really, really well. So do you think we underestimated Switzerland because they did well against Wales? They got the point they need to. Yeah, they struggled against Italy, but every single team struggled against Italy. And then
again, sorry to interrupt, Josh. But when we played Switzerland, I didn't think they were that good. I just thought we were poor.
They lack goals. They do lack a goal scorer, but defensively they're solid. And against Turkey, when Shaqiri turns up, they're a different team. So. In the World Cup they drew with Brazil. They go through their group and they should have a good final in the round of 16 of the World Cup. So, do you think Switzerland could be maybe the underdog in the knockouts?
No.
Well,
no.
I don't see them going through. The reason is I think goal difference could come down to it. They've got a -1 goal difference. So it all depends on the other groups, but. I think they left them. Oh, for God's sake! Oh, why does he keep doing this?
It's very annoying.
what I will say though, we actually saw the actual good Shaqiri yesterday. 2 cracking goals. I mean, the first one he curls into the back of the net, but the second one he's coming onto it, and. It's almost like a striker's finish. He lashes into the top corner, but even then, apart from Granit Xhaka's worst haircut of the tournament, honestly, why on earth has he gone blonde? I'll never know. It's not very, very good. I don't know. As I said at the start of our predictions show, with that. I just wasn't sure with Switzerland's attacking prowess. I know they're very good defensively. They've got a very good goalkeeper, obviously Jan Sommer, who obviously I know well from obviously Borussia Mönchengladbach. But even then, I just didn't think Switzerland had it in them to go through. But 4 points. I think they would have took that. But the only problem is now that the third place runners up. They could actually miss out on goal difference, and I think it would be an absolute pity if they did. But against Wales, they were all right. They weren't great. I mean, Mbolo scored. Severovic had probably 2, 3, 4 gilt edge opportunities, and that's the problem with Switzerland is that they've not got a cutting edge up front. So I would be worried if they go further into the competition about their lack of striker.
I'm just going to disagree very quickly on the fact of whether they're going to go through or not, because already, obviously, obviously four of the 6 teams is going to go through, and already they're ahead of Ukraine, obviously, because Ukraine finished on 3 points. And if Denmark managed to beat Finland, which obviously it'd be good for them to do it, because I think they've been very unlucky, obviously, with what happened with Eriksson and stuff like that. But if Denmark managed to beat Finland, then it means that whichever team of Denmark Denmark and Finland will both finish on 3 points. So obviously Denmark will go ahead of them, but they'll finish on 3 points. So then automatically, already by tonight, Switzerland will be through. because there's only 2 teams that obviously, and they'll both be on 3 points.
Very good start.
So it'll be interesting because I think Switzerland are not an easy team to play against. They're wretched, but I hate Switzerland because they robbed us of a place in the World Cup with the handball. So I will always despise Switzerland with an absolute passion. I hope he ever plays them, thumps them 10-0 and embarrasses them.
Did you see the wee stat about Shaqiri though? Jordan Shaqiri has now scored at the 2014, 2018 World Cup and the Euro 2016 and Euro 2020, and he joins a list. Well. And 2012, and he joins a list of Cristiano Ronaldo, Romelu Lukaku, and Ivan Perisic, who are the only players to have scored at all those tournaments.
That's some stuff. Moving on to Group B. So obviously this group concludes in 50 concludes in 50 minutes of the kickoffs. Belgium, Russia, Finland, and Denmark. So obviously Belgium were not exactly free yet, but they should be okay with the goal difference. Mathematically on free, but the goal difference should very much be in their favour. Then you got Russia on 3 points in the second one with a -2 goal difference. Finland on 3 points with a 0 goal difference, and then you got Denmark on -2 with 0 points.
Just very quickly, Josh. Sorry, but Belgium are through. It's because it's on head-to-head first. So because Belgium beat Russia, it means that even if Russia obviously win, it means that they'll still go through because I
thought it was goal difference in a group stage. That's head-to-head's a bit interesting in a short group stage, but fair enough. So Belgium were through then. So between Russia, Finland, and Denmark, who do you guys think is going to make it? And by the way, Belgium have gone full strength. Just if that helps.
I still hope Denmark. I've not been convinced with Russia. I think I know they beat Finland, but even then, Finland had a goal ruled out against them, and Finland actually looked pretty dangerous against Russia in that game as well. Against Belgium, I think they gave Belgium way too much respect in the first game. So I think Denmark can exploit that backline with Poulsen up front. I think, and I'm gonna say Denmark will make it.
Denmark will make it. Okay, what about the rest of you?
So I think it will be Belgium and Russia that will go through, and I think Denmark will finish third. But obviously, like I said a few minutes ago, I think they'll be one of the ones that doesn't go through because obviously they'd have to beat Finland by quite a few goals to try and obviously get that goal difference overturned. But I suspect they won't go through. I think Denmark will obviously struggle to score goals anyway without Eriksen. So I think they'll have to do a very good job to try and obviously get as many goals as they can, because again it all comes down to this head-to-head thing, and obviously Russia have got a far better, have obviously beaten Denmark, and again it's one of those things where it's going to be very difficult. So like I said, I think Belgium and Russia will go through. I think Denmark will finish third, but Denmark will go out because as one of the worst two, along with Ukraine.
Reece?
I don't think either of them are good enough to go through. If there was an option to kick out 2 teams, I'd kick out Denmark and Russia on the spot. Because regardless of the Eriksen situation, which was horrible, with or without Eriksen, they've still not been convincing enough. And Russia are just lucky to be in the tournament in the first place. They're a complete whitewash. I'm sick to death of Russia. I don't think they're good enough. And it's a shame that Ukraine aren't going to get through, because Ukraine are better than all of them.
Either way, if we end up facing Russia, we'll still dismantle them 3-0 like we did last time anyway. So
yep. So I personally couldn't care less between Russia and Denmark. Belgium, they haven't convinced me this tournament. They're overrated. I'm sick of saying it. I'm sick of speaking the truth about the Belgians. They need to go and get some waffles. Like, they're just a complete utter shit team. So they'll win that group anyway. But it's the worst group in the tournament. I just could not care less about this group at all. I'd rather fall asleep.
I've watched all of Finland's games too. I missed the Belgium and Russia game, and I in a sense I was kind of happy I missed Finland and Denmark. But I did see the last games, and yeah, they were very, very, very one-sided. And we've got Gareth Davis. Thank you for joining. It's coming home.
You mean you're going home?
We'll come to the
Who's qualified first?
on to Group C that has just concluded. So the Dutch have finished top of the group. Austria have qualified for the first time in their history. Ukraine finished third, and as kind of unsurprising, North Macedonia finished bottom. Now, Doug, seeing that North Macedonia, okay, yes, they finished bottom of the group on 0 points with a -6 goal difference, but fair play to them. They put in some really solid performances, and they were no pushover. They really did give it a shot.
I thought they were brilliant. Thought they were brilliant in the 3 games. I mean, against the Netherlands, they actually had 2 goals ruled out for offside, and they actually gave the Dutch a very, very good game. I loved the wee moment that they actually had a guard of honour for Goran Pandev because this is his final international appearance this evening. What a career he's had, Goran Pandev. I think he's had a very, very good career.
He had a very good game today, to be fair to him. He played really, really well.
Some lovely wee touches around the box there as well. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously the Austria game, they were very much in the game. Very unlucky to lose that 3-1 against Ukraine. They probably should have got a point in that game. Ukraine actually scraped through that one, but Macedonia, to their credit, they've actually given them a very good account of themselves. I think, obviously they have finished in 0 points, but you'd have to argue that they have been better than Turkey.
100%.
They have been there for a better. That's very true, and I think give credit to the North Macedonia coach. No one's ever heard of him. I don't know what his name is, but he got them to the European competition. He bet Germany, and he gave something for the country to be proud of as they leave the Euro. So. Moving on to, I'll ask Reece, is Ukraine probably not going to go through? I'm sure. First game against North Macedonia, they were probably underwhelming. Against Austria today, did not create basically any chances against not the greatest team. Yes, okay. They did well against. They did well against the Dutch, but again, defensively they just seemed to be too open, and came back to hurt them.
Ukraine will still get through. Ukraine will still go through as one of the 4th place teams. I think they've got a better chance than Scotland or Croatia, to be honest. I think if that result ended a draw tomorrow, Ukraine are going through.
Yeah. That's why I still think one of those, Croatia or Scotland, will go through, though. Obviously, will win, which is what they need to do. But you are right. If that stays as a draw.
I think Ukraine are still going to be one of the 4 teams. I think it'd be a disgrace to the tournament if they don't get to go through, because they've been the most exciting team for me, bar Italy and the Germans. Ukraine have been consistent the whole way through. They were unlucky to lose 2 games. One of them they didn't deserve to lose. Holland, they didn't deserve to lose that game. They were better than the Dutch. But that's football. If you don't take your chances, you don't win. And they were unlucky to lose today. They need to move on now. There's nothing else they can really do. Ukraine do have a good goal difference. But it won't really matter at the moment. It's the head-to-head that's really important.
Ukraine's goal difference is -1, Chris. So
considering some teams, it's better than most. It's the same as Switzerland. It's the exact same, but the only difference is Switzerland have got 4 points.
Yeah.
Nathan,
3 points is okay for them.
Nathan, so Frank de Boer actually won all 3 of his games. He actually finished top of the group, and his 5-3-2 system actually worked really well because Dumfries had an incredible group stage. So wait, are we actually saying Frank de Boer maybe is doing well for once as a manager, or did he just have an easier group?
I didn't realise miracles could happen. I got a feeling it's because he had an easier group, but I'm really not convinced in some areas watching Holland. I mean, he has had some good moments, but
defensively,
that's just the quality of the squad defensively.
Defensively, they look very suspect, and you got Martin Stekelenburg in goal, who's obviously ancient, and he plays for Ajax, doesn't he now? And that's only because Onana had that long-term suspension. Do you think the Dutch could maybe go all the way?
No chance. No chance.
The
they are going to have a very, very early exit. I can see when they get to the knockouts.
I think Holland are getting semi-finals.
Really? Semi-finals?
Holland, Italy, Germany, France.
The only thing I'll say about that is that, according to ITV, I was watching this game earlier because I couldn't watch the Ukraine-Austria game. Apparently, Netherlands are getting whoever finishes 3rd in Group F. So
that'll be Portugal.
That'll be Portugal.
Because Portugal are going to draw. Because Portugal are going to draw with France and Germany are going to steamroll the Hungarians, and they'll probably have some early Christmas dinner by 6 months.
We will come to Group F, but with the Dutch, Depay played really, really well. He played in a strike partnership today, which it wasn't Weghorst, it was I think Mandel or something like that.
Daniel Malen. He's the better option. He's the better option for Depay because they both match each other in terms of pace. Well, Malen's quicker, but they both match each other. They're both quick players. Malen's also very good holding the ball. He does have a creative edge to him, something Weghorst does not have. Depay's also a creative forward. So that's the Dutch in a nutshell. It's creative forwards playing with a creative midfield. This is what Holland have been forgetting this whole time under Frank de Boer. Why wouldn't you play your two most creative forwards together when you would actually do something? I think he needs to look at his system as well. To be fair, I don't mind him playing a back three, but I think he should change it. I think he should go 3-4-3. Play Malen in the middle. Play Memphis on the left. And if he's in the bloody team, Bergwijn, put Bergwijn on the right-hand side, or you put a right winger out there. They would thrive in a 3-4-3 because they've got two fantastic wing-backs to do it. Van Aanholt and Dumfries is perfect there, and they've just got a simple back three to manage the game. A 3-4-3 suits the Dutch.
Isn't that the best name of the actual Euros though? Denzel Dumfries. I just think that's fantastic.
Did you guys all see that Frank de Boer was giving his tactics out? No, yesterday he was saying that he was going to make two changes. He was going to play the 3-5-2, then he was going to switch to the 4-3-3 in the second half. He was actually giving out his whole game plan. It was, the guy's bizarre, but he's got
I do not rate Frank de Boer as a manager. I've said it there and now. He really suffered at Palace. He was terrible at Palace. I don't think he was great at Inter Milan either. The only really good thing he's done is with Atalanta United. And even then, I didn't think he was that great there either.
4 league titles in a row at Ajax as well.
Yeah, I just don't rate him.
I don't think he's particularly a good manager, but he has some success in there. He might actually end up going on to be better at international football. The funny thing is, been terrible club managers that have went into international football sucked and then ended up being really good. He could end up turning into an international football genius.
Well, the thing is, international football aren't all about tactics, so he won't be as exposed tactics-wise.
It depends on the team, because look at Southgate. He gets exposed every single week.
Right. Well, we're talking about Gareth Southgate. On to Group D, the Czech Republic, England, Croatia, and Scotland. We'll come to Scotland and Croatia in a minute after this, because that's obviously a must-win game. England and this group is honestly incredible how this group could turn out. George, how do you sum up the two games that England have had so far? Against Croatia, when you won 1-0, and then nilly draw with Scotland. I know you despise Southgate, but do you honestly think there's a chance that you could maybe finish third in this group?
We could do.
No.
I think it will be very unlikely because we'd have to get absolutely. I think obviously it would have to go down to goal difference. Scotland would have to win, obviously, and it would then have to go down to goal difference. And obviously Scotland have got a -2 and we've got a +1. So again, it had to be a relatively big swing. So I think I don't see that happening. I think we should be beating the Czech Republic, but ultimately, even if it's a draw, obviously they're going to be on the same amount of points and go through second. But we should be beating Czech Republic ultimately. And that's hopefully what's going to happen. Obviously,
I think the word "should" and England winning shouldn't be in a sentence anymore.
He needs to. He obviously needs to play Jack Grealish, like I said on obviously the watch along we did the other night. That's a major thing that he needs to do, which obviously most people have said that he needs to do, but it's whether he will or not. But yeah, ultimately, I think England will be going through. And yeah, I expect to win, but whether we'll see that or not is we'll find out tomorrow night. But obviously, the other game's more in many ways more interesting because I think obviously there's going to be one of those two teams is going to go through and one not. But obviously, there could be a draw, in which case both are going out.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's hard to ask this without knowing the full details, but where do you see this England team going in the Euros? If you progress in the top two, obviously, if you finish second, you either play Germany, France, or Portugal. I'm not too sure who you play if you're top. I haven't looked at all the scenarios yet, so I'm sure Doug, you have the answers.
If you win the group, if England win the group, they play they play the second place team, and that's going to be Portugal. That's going to be France.
When was it if I finish second in the group? Then if the Czech Republic beat them, or even
someone.
They'll play the winner of the Spain group if they finish second.
Yeah. So actually, for that second
would you rather
round,
lose tomorrow?
No. So for the second round, it would be easier, wouldn't it, to play? It would be easier to play the way I think the winner of the Spain group, because I don't necessarily rate any of those teams from what I've seen of them.
The winner of the Spain group will put you anyway, because it'll be Sweden. And Sweden have been absolutely brilliant defensively, and Isaac just needs to run at that defence. And
the thing is with Sweden though, I don't see that the games that I've watched of them, they have been incredibly boring. Both of those games that they're against Spain and against...
Difference is that international football playing boring gets you results. Look at France. They were incredibly boring in both games and they've got 4 points.
Yeah, obviously we were boring and got 4 points as well. Like I said, I don't really rate any of those teams in that group. I think obviously Spain themselves have really struggled without a proper striker. I mean, Morata obviously is
mine didn't show our message tomorrow.
The sort of Chelsea curse of strikers, really. Morata, Vernon, people like that. It's the same old thing. We see them just incredible. I mean, just incredible, really. And they're still getting picked. So, I mean, Morata again was.
See the same thing about Harry Kane.
But he's not had any chances, has he? Morata gets lots of chances, and Morata misses lots of chances, whereas Kane hardly gets any. So they're totally different, aren't they?
Aye, at least one's actually making an effort to get chances. The other's ghosting about. You should honestly call Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but like I said, the thing is that England have played incredibly pragmatically and haven't made enough chances, which is why, like I said, we want to play.
They should still be even for a pragmatic side. They should still be feeding through Harry Kane. It's not hard. This the amount of creative players they've got. It's not hard to feed them through once. Like for a team like that quality, like it shouldn't be hard. Honestly, a blind man could pick out Harry Kane. Like Stevie Wonder from his grave could pick out Harry Kane with a pass. Like it's embarrassing, like how Harry Kane has not been found once.
Yeah, well, like I said, that means that he hasn't had the chances. Whereas I've seen lots
playing too deep as well is not helping him.
Yeah. But I would to answer the question, I would rather. I think it's probably best to finish top anyway. Just for the confidence sake and obviously rolling on. I think as well I think that means we're playing at Wembley, which I think if we obviously came second, we would be playing somewhere else. So I think it'd be better to play there.
If you finish second, you'd be playing in Rome.
Yeah, so I think it'd be better obviously have home advantage. And ultimately, obviously, if we could somehow bore our way past France in some way, I don't even know how that would happen, but then obviously the route to the final is slightly. So it's basically because obviously I think in the quarter you'd have to play the winner of Group F anyway, I think, or something along those lines. So I think it's just basically sort of better maybe to play them obviously first of all in the second round. So also the second of Group F, I should say, rather than the winner of Group F in the quarters, which I think is how it would work out. So yeah, I think better to top the group.
Doug, is your typing skills struggling there? Is it?
Oh, for God's sake! I realised that when I was
smash the like button, flick that bell.
But yes, I do really enjoy the message. 5 away, so you know what to do. George, when is Southgate going to top the team? Ever?
Well, hopefully we're going to be. Hopefully we're going to be top at the end of tomorrow night. But if in terms of like changing it, I don't. Obviously, he really does like Raheem Sterling, who I really don't rate in any shape or form. But he'll probably end up keep on playing. So yeah, like I said, for me, obviously Jack Grealish has to come in, and they obviously have to work on quicker passing and see where that takes us.
If Reece, Paul wants to know, who's your favourite Ghostbuster?
To be honest, I'll tell you, it's not Venkman.
I'm gonna make everyone's life easier.
To be fair,
an agreement with Club Bruges has been reached for the transfer of exciting young forward Emmanuel Dennis. We are delighted to confirm. I actually remember him playing against Liverpool in the Champions League a couple of years ago for Club Bruges.
He's gone straight back down. My favourite character is actually Ray Stantz. He's my favourite Ghostbuster.
George, you're cracking apparently. I don't notice any. I don't hear anything, but there you go.
I do hear something, but I don't know what it fucking is. Like, that's the funny thing.
Let's move on to Doug. Let's move on to Doug and Reece then. I'll get an England prediction at the end, but I want to give with half an hour left. I do want to give Doug and Reece some time to explain the Scotland game. It is probably as simple as this: Croatia are coming to Hampton Park. If you win, you should go through as one of the third-base teams. Are you excited for the occasion, or are you absolutely bricking it?
Well, he's not even watching it, so I'll get his.
It's a bit of both. I am excited at the fact that it could be glorious failure, or we might get out of the group for the first time ever. I think we did enough against England to actually win the game. We had enough chances to, win. I don't like the fact that England fans are like tweeting, "Oh, Scotland have won their 0-0 trophy." You guys have been bragging about losing a World Cup semi-final for the last 3 years. I'm like, I mean, really. But having said that, I thought England were absolutely terrible against Scotland the other night, and I think we missed a trick there. If we had taken 3 points, then you go into the Croatia game thinking that a point would be enough. But I think it's going to be a bit trickier without Gilmore. In all honesty, I think what you might see, McTominay move back to midfield, which I don't want to happen because I think McTominay was absolutely outstanding at right centre back. But it'll be probably the same enough team, barring probably Gilmore. I would probably say that I think Armstrong might come in, or maybe
John Fleck.
No,
fuck off of that John Fleck, I swear to God.
Do not even say that name.
I will book a flight. My phone is right beside me. I will book a flight for Ireland for Thursday, and I'll come over and kick your ass and then fly back home.
But what I will say is, I think Croatia have a lot of good attacking players. The only thing is they have been very poor so far in this game.
And they were lucky to get a point. And they were lucky to get a point against Czech Republic.
Oh, they were. They were really, really lucky. So, I'm feeling quite confident. I'm feeling that we'll do it.
Reece, what do you think?
Well, I want to keep my comments rather interesting because, funnily enough, I will be speaking to a Croatian fan in about less than 2.5 hours' time. I will be speaking to a Croatian live on YouTube, so it's going to be funny. But what I will say is, it is going to be a hard game. We do need to work for it because just because Croatia haven't done enough yet doesn't mean they won't turn up in the last game. They can certainly still turn up. They just need to get the front three in the correct positions because they've been playing them out of position. But also Scotland as well. They've dominated both games. They've just not put the ball in the back of the net. We definitely need to score. But what I will say is the way we've played the last 2 games, we don't deserve to be eliminated at the group stage. We do not deserve it. But if we do, then if we go home, then we go home. But the difference is there's no major expectation, there's no major pressure on us. We were there to enjoy ourselves and see what we can do. We were never going to be an outstanding favourite. We were never going to be included in the favourites ring. But it's just a matter of what we do. And I'm looking forward to it tomorrow, but it is going to be very hard, and I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to finish 1-0, to be honest.
Safe to say, Reece, I do think Croatia will have to start Pekovic up front, obviously, because he was a game changer when he came out half time against the Czech Republic. Because I don't think it's a matter of starting Pekovic. I think they just need to get the wingers in the correct positions. Put Rebic on the left, put Perisic on the right, and play Kramaric up front. Well, the boy says Kramaric will score a hat trick, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Kramaric won't score a hat trick. He won't.
I think there's more chance of George replacing Solskjaer at United than that happening.
I think we'll win 1-0, but if we take our chances and dominate the ball and limit Modric in the midfield, we could end up winning 2-0. But to be fair, they've got the midfield advantage now because Gilmore's out. They've got that advantage. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. It could be a change of plan. As long as there's no fucking winger up top, then I'll be happy.
Let's bring in the neutral and Nathan. You're unbiased in this. England, Czech Republic, and then Scotland, Croatia score predictions. Who's going through and who's going home?
England 1, Czech Republic 1. Only because Czech Republic, they have been impressing me and they were really
Patrick
good
Schick's
twice
in
in Euros.
Patrick Schick is informed, to be fair.
I think they're going to shock everyone 1-1. It could go the other way as well. And then as for Scotland versus Croatia, anything could happen again. Croatia haven't convinced me either. It's going to be another. I think it'll be Desmond's actually 2-2.
I think Doug would have. I think Doug would faint if it was 2-2. I think Reece will probably just feel like knocking out the nearest man to him.
My house is going to be empty during the game because my whole family are away, so I'll probably end up with my fist on the wall or something.
Note to self: stay away from Reece's windows. You might see a couple of flying things out, flying out, especially if John Fleck starts.
If John Fleck starts, don't worry. I don't worry. I won't forget.
Keep an eye on Twitter. Moving on to Group A, Sweden, Slovakia, Spain, and Portugal. Reece, I'm going to ask you the question: could we potentially see Spain out altogether?
I hope so. I honestly hope so because this is a country that everyone hyped up as the best football team ever, and then 9 years later, they're one of the worst, and it's fucking beautiful. And on the way they have fallen is music to my ears. It is completely beautiful to see the Spanish fall the way they have because a decade ago they were the only other nation that could compete with them was, in my opinion, the Germans. On a regular basis, it was just the Germans, and now you've got the sense of they're gone. Like Spain, I think I'll give Enrique credit where credit is due. He is a very good manager. But going into this tournament, he has made some decisions that have been quite costly. He's playing a central midfielder as a wing back when he's got Aspilicueta. He's got Aspilicueta on the bench. I believe he should be. If he's going to play a wing back, use a wing back. He's leaving Thiago Alcantara on the bench. Yeah, he didn't have a particularly good season at Liverpool. But to be fair, he is Spain's best creative central midfield player. He should be playing these games. He's playing Pedri, a central midfielder, as a left winger when he's got Oyarzabal. He took Sarabia.
I think that's a crime he's not playing.
He took Sarabia. What the fuck is that? He shouldn't be there. Dani Olmo. Don't get me wrong. Dani Olmo's had a brilliant season at Leipzig. He's a player that I rate a lot, Dani Olmo. But he's playing him as a winger as well. He should be playing in like an attacking midfield role. Even though he has played in a wing position before, he played as a wide attacking midfielder. He's not a winger, and it does not help. I think as well, and this is another thing, they've abandoned. I understand that every team has to have a cultural reset. The Germans done it, and they've been brilliant ever since. They've only failed at one tournament, and that was 3 years ago. But they stuck to their principles. The Spanish have went against their style of play, which is beautiful, intricate football, dominating the ball, possession. Ever since the Dutch humbled them seven years ago, now it's all about aggression and intensity, but they've got nothing else to show for it. And you look at the players as well; they are gone in terms of the talent.
Didn't work for them either.
Yeah, I don't agree with this intensity style. I think the intensity should only suit for teams that are intense, like the Germans. In my opinion, yeah, that was crap, man. That was crap. That's the worst one I've seen from you. That was horrible. I look at that Spanish team, and I honestly think they're trying to copy the Germans. They're trying to copy the Germans' aggression and intense style of play with a high press, and they don't do it as good enough. And people say the Germans got absolutely smashed by Spain and Spain are a better team. No, yes, Spain smashed them, but they are not a better team than the Germans. The Germans at least have actually turned up at this tournament. What have the Spanish done? Fuck all. It's my opinion. If they go home, I will be clapping them away. I will be clapping their asses off back to wherever the fuck their home base is.
Well, moving on to you, Doug. Spain have to beat Slovakia. I think it's in Spain. I think it's in Spain again. But Slovakia defensively have been one hell tough nut to crack. Defensively they have been really solid, and they are statistically the best counter-attacking team at the Euros. And you look at Spain's goal scoring problems. You actually could say you do maybe fancy Slovakia to maybe get a point here, because if Spain can't score against a very good defence, and Slovakia have the quality to counter-attack Spain, especially as when Spain have to win this game, so they're going to be committing more men forward than you normally would. So, do you think Slovakia could knock Spain back out?
I'm going to go one better. I think Slovakia will beat Spain. I actually think Slovakia will beat Spain. The reason is, I'm just thinking the way that Spain have been playing, like against Sweden, they had 85% possession and 917 passes, and they didn't do anything with the ball with it. I think they had one shot on target. Against Poland, they had 3 shots on target. And actually, if you actually think about it, Poland almost won it at the end as well. So
should have won.
They are essentially the international team compared to Fulham in the Premier League.
I actually said this at the start of my predictions, and I'm gonna bank this up. I actually said Spain would flop at these Euros. I wasn't convinced by the team that Enrique took.
24-6 was a wrong decision as well.
Like the one thing I will say is this: relying on Alvaro Morata, he might have scored from about 5 yards out, but even then he's been shocking. I've no idea why they're not playing Thiago. I agree with Reece. I think he's definitely Spain's best passer of the ball.
Jared Moreno, 24 goals in La Liga, left on the bench the first game, played a position the second game for Morata.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's not interested in using strikers, why not go and look at a centre forward? Like play a false nine. The best false nine in Spain that's Spanish is Iago Aspas.
So I actually think that Spain are actually going to go out, and I think they're going to finish bottom as well.
Wow.
You know what they should do as well? Look at the successful teams they had from 2008 to 2012 when they didn't use Villa or they didn't use Torres. They played an attacking midfielder as a centre forward, and they actually were more dominant. They got the wingers into the game, allowed the midfield to dominate. Why is Enrique not doing this? Like he done it at Barcelona when there was games when he didn't use his main three. He used an attacking midfielder to neutralise opponents, like as a centre forward position, as a false nine. So, if anything, in this final game, I would consider dropping Morata. Tell him to fuck off. If he doesn't trust Gerard Moreno, then use an attacking midfielder. He's got Olmo. To be fair, he's got Thiago Alcantara. I think he could do it really well.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to score as a false nine, but he could bring the wingers into play to do the.
Wales did it the other day with Aaron Ramsey up front, and they've been doing it in the warm-up games as well. It hasn't been.
I thought that was a genius move, again by Page playing Aaron Ramsey up front, because obviously he managed to score against Turkey.
The Germans are doing it. The Germans are
great recipe for more.
But yeah, for me, Spain, I think are going home.
Nathan, Sweden and Poland. Now, Sweden are probably the most boring team to watch at the Euros. They literally are park the bus merchants. It's a 4-4.
That's an understatement.
4-4-2. They literally just sit deep, and but they have Forsberg. Forsberg's done really well for them. I can't say anything about ISAK, one of the most young.
Isaac, yeah, really good underrated player.
Isaac, Forsberg, and Lindelof. What a trio!
Even Robin Olsen is a very good goalkeeper for Spain, apparently. So, sorry for Sweden. Poland need to win this game, but they're going to be come up against an extremely defensive team. You're literally putting all your money on Lewandowski here, or if you're Poland, aren't you, to come up with the magic?
Who?
Well, there's one saying that I find in any sport that always happens: attack when it's a game of attack versus defense. Defense always wins. I think it's going to be narrow. 1-0 Sweden.
And to be honest, that's literally the result that Sweden get. They park the bus, they get a lucky chance.
Yep.
But listen,
They're gonna do it.
Under Jan Henderson, they have reached the quarterfinals of the World Cup, which was well out of their expected. They've qualified for the 2 European competitions. So, George, do you see Spain going home, or do you see Luis Enrique just about getting through?
Very difficult again. I think this group has been quite close, obviously, between all the different teams. I will say they will scrape through.
If Spain go home, I think Luis Enrique will be sacked on the spot. Just remember,
I think Poland will beat Sweden.
Can I just remind you, Luis Enrique is a good manager, but the manager they had in before when Enrique left due to his daughter issues, Marino, he was 17 games unbeaten with the Spanish squad and was asked to resign to bring Luis Enrique back. They may have came back to hold him because he had a working method with Spain, so
he found the system.
And moving on to Group F then to finish it off. Obviously, I don't know. I've got 2 questions. I'll start off with one. Do we see Hungary going to Bayern Munich, beating Germany in their own backyard, and somehow massively, incredibly going through this group, or did they only perform well because they had 68,000
Stop
fans?
disrespecting the Germans, for fuck's sake.
No, we're coming on to the German. I'm saying, do Hungary actually have a chance of pulling off an upset, or was it just because the games were in Budapest that they probably look better than they actually are?
They had the luck at home. Look at the Germans' record in Germany. It's better than most nations, and the Germans are the best team in European history. They're the best team to play in the European tournament, the European Championships. They're the best team to do it. Honestly, just watch that game against Hungary. They're going to play the exact same way they did against the French, the same way they done against Portugal. The second that ball kicks off in Munich, Hungary are going to defend like hell, but Germany are going to attack them with intensity. Portugal were defensive, held their nerve. As soon as I'll go one further. See, the second Portugal scored, I knew it was over, because the second they scored, they tried to sit back and they could not cope. They could not cope with that intensity. The Germans are going to do the exact same thing to Hungary. I wouldn't be surprised if this game finishes 4 or 5-0 to Germany. I honestly would not be surprised.
I don't see it. I don't.
Hungary are not getting a point. Hungary are not getting a point off the Germans.
No. I'm not gonna argue against that. The thing is, I don't see Germany scoring 5. I don't see them scoring 5 against Hungary.
I'm just saying 5 because I want the goal difference up. But I think the way they pressed Portugal, who are by far a better team, who are, to be fair, better defensively than Hungary. If they get at them in the same way they did against Portugal, same way against France, they can tear Hungary apart. But Hungary are resolute. Hungary are resolute, and I'll give them that. They are a resolute team. But can they cope against intensity? That's the thing.
I've actually been impressed with Hungary. I think they've actually played very well in both games. I think they were very unlucky to draw 1-1 with France. I think France, I didn't think were that great. And also big news today that Ousmane Dembele has left the French national team camp with an injury. Now, if anyone saw my tweet the other day saying he's overrated, I think that kind of backs it up, really, because
he's a shit player. How can anyone rate Ousmane Dembele?
There is talent in there in Ousmane Dembele, but unfortunately, we just don't see it enough. And the fact that he was actually subbed on and then subbed off like that. He didn't have a particularly good game when he came on anyway, but yeah, France for me were really, really poor against Hungary. Hungary against Portugal. To be fair, I know Portugal took time to get the 3 goals, but even then, I thought Hungary were held their own. And obviously, having a full crowd in Budapest, I believe the final actually might be being moved to from Wembley to Budapest as well.
It's being considered, yeah. I think it'd be a good choice. I've been to the stadium. I've been, and it's one of the nicest stadiums I've been to in Europe. It's
It
beautiful.
looks really, really nice. The only thing is, Hungary are not beating Germany in Munich. If this was at the Puskás Arena,
they get a draw.
Then they could get a draw, but I don't see Hungary beating Germany in Munich.
I think the Germans go into the tournament straight away. The difference is they just did not convert against the French. The French did not deserve to win that game. They didn't deserve to win. It should have been a draw.
So,
game, they couldn't hold it.
Final point: if you have 10 minutes until these games kick off, I'm sure everyone want to go and watch all of these games, especially with what's on the live for some teams. Doug, just to say, Portugal, right? Portugal could actually go out here, realistically, all right? And they shouldn't do, but the fact there is a possibility. You know, Santos, the current Portuguese manager, he's won the Euros with them 5 years ago. Did an incredible job to do that. They were actually one of the very best teams, and going on to win the thing. He won the Nations League, but this team has evolved. There's a lot more better attacking talent in this team now. He's not using Bruno Fernandes in his best position, which is not getting the best out of Bruno. Do you think that Santos has not evolved with what his team is? Because they're defensive, they're rigid, they're solid, and Portugal just don't look comfortable playing the way he sets them up.
That's a tricky one with Santos, isn't it? Look, Portugal did fantastic to win the Nations League. They did fantastic to win the Euros in 2016. Just on the Bruno point, I think he has been really poor, in all honesty. The way that he's been playing, thank you. The way that Bruno Fernandes has actually been playing in that Portugal side, he's more defensive. If you've actually noticed the way that actually Portugal have been playing, it's been hampering the way that he's actually been, playing in that Portugal midfield. What I will say though is whatever Graham Souness said the other night was absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to point any things that said something about if Bruno was in my dressing room, I wouldn't want him in the team or something. So obviously that's Graham Souness for you, but Portugal defensively are an absolute shambles. However, there is one reason for that. Nelson Semedo is one of the worst right backs I have seen for club and country. He is shocking, and I don't understand why he is at Wolves.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Do you see Portugal getting through? Do you think they'll beat France? Or
not a chance.
No, I think it'll be a draw, but I think Portugal will go through.
Right, what I'm going to get you all to do here, just before we all round it up, because I know George is desperate to go and watch all of these games. I'm sure, Doug, you're going to pick one game to eat. Reece, I don't know what the hell you're going to do, and you're probably going to drink some beer. I'm going to count down from 3 down to 0, and when I get to 0, I want all of you to shout out your early predicted winners for the Euros with the teams that you think are going to make through. So just shout out who you think is going to win all at once, all right? Just because we don't have time to explain. Also, 3, 2, 1.
Germany,
Germany, and who was yours, Nathan?
Germany.
Mine was France. Gosh.
Oh, so France, 2 Germany, and 1 Italy. You think, Nathan, very quickly, why do you? We know why Reece thinks Germany. Why did that performance against Portugal think Germany are back at their best?
That summed it up for me. The way they came back and the way they just worked things out. And honestly, Joachim Löw, been in the job for 16 years, he is going to pull it out in the last tournament. The quality in that team is second to none. France, they've been underperforming in aspects. They have the best squad at the Euros and the best squad depth, but if there's just something that sticks out for that Germany team. Italy, strong squad, but I just don't think they have enough. And Portugal look vulnerable in defence, and I just think they got something missing. And then everyone's going to ask me, England's, well, absolutely no chance.
And obviously, France is self-explanatory. We know where he's. Doug, I take it you find it hard to see how anyone stops that Italy team in the form they're in.
I just think the way Italy have been playing has been really, really good. And Mancini has got a winning mentality in that Italy squad. So, yeah, for me, I just think that Italy for me are the best team of the tournament, and I can see them absolutely hammering Austria I honestly can.
Is that
I
Wembley?
think.
Is that Wembley?
Yes, it is at Wembley. But even then, I can see Italy hammering Austria, and then if they come up against Belgium, I'd fancy them against Belgium. In all honesty, and then you'd have to question them against France or Germany. And usually, when Germany play Italy will usually win. So could be interesting. But yeah, I'm going to back Italy.
Well, that rounds up our podcast for this evening. So we've got 6 minutes of the Euro game, so I'm going to do a very quick outro. If you want to check out Nathan's channel, Nathan's Twitter is in his wee name. His YouTube name is NWM. He'll be doing a watch along for the round of 16 game
this Saturday at 5 o'clock.
You have to be there. I'm sure he'll be having a few beers, so you can't miss it. If you want to check Reece out, Reece's Twitter is in the description. His name is also on screen. That's where he posts a lot of controversial topics, and he also likes to tell you what he's having for his dinner, if it's a fish and chips or if it's a pasty and chip. And a classic Reece saying, "Oh, go on, man." If you want to see me and George are on the Blue Podcast, the Golden Show. That will be out this Friday at 4 p.m. on the Blue Podcast. George, we bloody need to do a show. So yeah,
you can also catch me in a few shows tonight. I'm on Rich Sports at 10 o'clock, 10:15 tonight. I'm also might be presenting a show soon. I'm not going to tell you anything else like that until later on. But I'm also on Leicester Till I Die on Friday night at 7 o'clock as well.
Paul, it is actually Banana Split.
That's a nice one. George, is there a point of people following your Twitter, or do you just kind of hop on the podcast and that's where people find you?
That's pretty much it, yeah, Josh. I think that's where people can find on the
right. Well, you can find him on the Blue Podcast, the Josh YouTube channel, and the Dugout Football channel, and then obviously there's part of the furniture. Doug could be probably back on next week, so.
if you'll have me, then yeah, that'd be absolutely fantastic.
But listen, everyone knows where to check out
haggis. Does that look like haggis to you?
Everyone knows where to check out Doug's. Everyone knows where to check Doug's. All the links are in the descriptions except for Nathan's because I need the added because he wasn't originally planned when I made the stream. My knockout predictions video for the Euros will be out on Friday, and even better, it's going to be a funny edition. So if you want to see some Euro predictions, but in a very funny version, keep your eyes out on Friday. But other than that, that's it from us all. We will be back next Monday night for the next episode of the Josh and Reece podcast. And Reece, as you the co-host, any final words to say to the chat? He's not prepared for this.
Wait, what? Sorry, I was sorry, my phone was going off. Sorry.
As the co-host, I'll let you say the final words.
Scotland are going through. England are shite. Don't underestimate the Germans, and for once, Wales have done something good.
Okay, there we go. See you later, guys. Enjoy your week.